Delacey Howard here with Third Movement. I want to talk about two issues today. I want to talk about the Trayvon case and the verdict was in last night, and I want to take my time. I want to go through it the day and sleep on it and mold it over. I put up a nice little text or letter on my Facebook. Letting my feelings out a little bit, and you have to be careful with social media when you letting your feelings out, especially when this was happened. So, because basically the verdict came in and people was posting, and there was straight raw feelings, and that's cool. But with the internet, you can't take stuff back. With these videos, I can't take nothing back, and I have to show Christ overall. So I didn't want to just bring out a video and really have raw emotions without being prayed about it first and try to get into the spirit a little bit before I really just went off and just came at it. So this is generally my opinion on the whole Trayvon Martin. And I also want to talk about the what's her name? The lady that cooks, Paula Deen, Miss Paula Deen. I want to share my feelings. And listen, I know this is kind of old, and I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people do things for views, and I really don't do things for views. So I mean, a lot of stories. I think the only story that I came off with straight when it happened was the Boston massacre, and that was more or less because people was really, I don't know, they were just really, acting like, okay, the government has something to do with this, and not giving people chances to heal and not letting time to heal and or whatever before they started to call it or whatever they wanted to call it. But getting back to this Trayvon Martin, now this is what I know about the whole situation. George Zimmerman was a neighborhood watch. He was not contracted with the neighborhood that he was watching for. It was kind of like all the neighborhood, the people in the neighborhood got together and said, okay, we're going to let you be the neighborhood watch. That's cool and all. I think if you live in a nice neighborhood and you really want to, look out for people, neighborhood watches are okay. But he was the neighborhood watch. He was on the phone with 911 when he called about Trayvon. Now, this is best of my knowledge. They told him to stop following him. The police was on the way. And he didn't. Trayvon started running, and George Zimmerman chased him down. And then I guess they got into a little fight or whatever, and Trayvon was beating his head in, and I guess he got to the gun and shot Trayvon. Now, that's the best of my knowledge. That's the best that I know in the situation. That's basically what I know. Also, Zimmerman was, I guess, caught in a lie saying that Trayvon was in the bushes or whatever, came out the bushes on him or whatever, and that was a lie. So basically, everything I just said happened, and that's what Zimmerman told the police, and the police, I guess, just said, okay, that was good enough. Now I want to break this down into 4 topics: the stand your ground law, the fact that Trayvon was, I guess you would call, a thug by some people, or the media said he was a thug. Super cop George Zimmerman, and then the lack of the bad job they did in the trial of telling everything and going after and trying this case. So I want to start off with this whole Trayvon was a thug. Trayvon, yes, was suspended for smoking weed. Trayvon had pictures of him shooting birds on the internet. This kid was 17 years old. Very immature. That sounds like what 17-year-olds do. When I was 17-year-old, I was not the guy that I am now. You know, I had the things that I was doing that I probably shouldn't have been doing. Doesn't mean I was a thug. The fact that Trayvon had pictures of him smoking weed, the fact that Trayvon had pictures of him shooting birds, the fact that Trayvon was suspended for smoking weed, even the fact that Trayvon was down living with his dad because some people say his mother couldn't handle him, does not at all scream thug. That does not at all make this kid a thug. If you go by and if you're brave enough, go look at some of the death pictures that's on the internet. You will see this kid attire was not anything that said thug. This kid was going to get candy and soda and tea or whatever. This was not at all thug. This was a teen who was acting out, yes. But doesn't make him that don't mean he was a thug. That means he was just acting out. That all teens do, of all races, of all colors, and all creed. Because you act out doesn't mean you deserve it all to be killed. That's my first point. Second, if this kid was a thug, there is no conclusive evidence that he was involved in any kind of thuggery. There was no conclusive evidence that he was involved in any type of gang-related stuff. There was no conclusive evidence that he was doing anything wrong that night other than going to get him some tea and Skittles. How did it get to Trayvon being a thug? Now, was Trayvon a saint like we trying to portray him? No, he wasn't a saint. There's no one out there who doesn't have, at that age, that's not going through something. The fact that the media portrayed him, or the fact that some people see this kid as a thug, is outlandish in America. That's wrong. Just because he's a black male and he's involved into these things doesn't mean... You know, a lot of people when they were that age experiment. A lot of my friends came and said that they when they was that age, they experimented in drugs like that. When I was that age, I experimented in alcohol. You know, it's experimentation. Now, I'm not trying to say that he was right. I'm not trying to say I was right. I'm not trying to say anything. What I'm trying to say is this doesn't make you a thug. This does not make you a thug. That just means that you needed discipline. By the mom sending him to the father, which in most cultures, the father are the disciplinarian, she was sending him to get discipline. So that whole idea that Trayvon was a thug because of the things that he was doing, no, just cut that out. Now let's get to George Zimmerman. Super cop. It's reports that he wanted to be a cop. I even heard reports that he fought cops. He has a very a past of domestic violence. I don't know if that's beating on women. I don't know if that's beating on people, domestic. I don't know what exactly it is, but he has more of a record than Trayvon. But immediately they believe his story. There's something wrong with that. The fact that this guy start chasing this kid with a gun alone, for him following him alone with a gun should have been a count. That should have hold some years. But the fact that he just said it was justified because I was on the ground getting beat and I shot him because I feared for my life. Trayvon was running. Trayvon feared for his life, and he did what any other white, black, Mexican, whatever you would. If somebody's chasing you with a gun and you can't get away, you're gonna fight for your life. I'm a man of God, and if I'm in that situation, I'm gonna fight for my life. There is no way that this man, being a grown individual, should have been chasing this boy with a gun. And not only that, for him not obeying the officer because they told him not to pursue Trayvon, to stop following him, for him disobeying that order, a police would have got in trouble. How is he not getting in trouble for that order? That's baffling. That alone should have been a time. He should have got time for that alone. He was trying to take the law upon his own hands, and that's wrong. So that's the second issue I wanted to hit on. The third issue was, I think Trayvon, and I know Trayvon had every right being there. Trayvon had not committed a crime. The fact that George called the police in the first place was laughable because he didn't know who he was. That's laughable. Trayvon had every right being there. If I'm at my brother's house and I'm walking in his community and somebody stopped me, as a man, I'm going to be like, I don't have to stop. I'm a grown man. I'm in America. I'm not doing anything wrong. If you see me in the neighborhood and I have weapons, or if I have things that I look like I should be a suspect. This kid had sodas and Skittles. What he did? Went into somebody's house and they refrigerated and stole some Skittles and soda? Like, really? I can see if there was justified cause to say, okay, this kid looks suspicious, I want to stop him. He just had a hoodie on. That's not justified cause. Now, in America, you do have to, it's sad to say, but you do have to profile. Just to be honest with you. It's sad to say, but you have to profile. And profile has stopped a lot of things. It stopped a lot of crimes. You know, police use it all the time. But there's a certain aspect that's profilable. I can't look at somebody and say, okay, you got a hoodie on. Just because you got a hoodie on, I'm gonna profile you. No, if he had like bag in his hands or something and he was running away, if he looked suspicious, then that's a different story. But this kid did not look suspicious. The only thing this kid looked was a black kid with a hoodie on, and he got profiled for that. So I'm gonna give you. We have to profile each other, people. That just it goes back throughout the day. It's called a judgment. I look at a person. I say, well, you know what? You don't look like a type of person I would hang with. You know, so I would question. Okay, if I get to know you, and when you start doing things that confirm your look and your actions, I'm not gonna hang around with you. That's profiling in a way, and that's showing the judgment. This video is going long, so there will be a part 2.